Hey guys, hi there. You guys ready to get extreme tonight? Get a little in your face, right? Some extreme action? Alright, so today we are talking about extremes. And we as humans, we like to assume that we have cornered the market on the extreme, the weird, the odd, and the flamboyant. This is not my dog, but I wish it was, right? We impress ourselves by building fantastically large buildings, by traveling to the furthest reaches of the earth, by living in some of the most inhospitable environments, and by pushing our bodies to the very limits. Let me assure you that in the animal kingdom, there are plenty of animals who display behaviors or traits that push the very boundaries of the extreme. And so tonight I'm going to present to you just a small sliver of these behaviors in a segment I like to call Animals Extreme Edition. Alright, so we're going to get ready, we're going to have some fun. So dance is one of the most beautiful and physically demanding forms of human expression, right? Dancers in many cultures push themselves to the very limits of physical endurance in their quest for perfection of this beautiful and incredible art form. Well, not all dancers, right? Let me show you in the animal kingdom, dance is actually used for a very specific reason. For animals, it's often used by the males to impress females. So it's there to tell females how awesome they are and what great mating partners they're capable of being. So here's a peacock spider. This spider actually has a sheath that it holds over its abdomen, and when it really wants to impress the ladies, it pops that sheath up and performs a dance that I assure you will rival anything you've seen on Dancing with the Stars. See if we can get some music going here. This is good stuff, so. Pretty impressive stuff. But that's not the only way to woo the ladies, right? So there are other ways. Another way that we can do it is by contests of physical strength. Now these contests have been in human history going all the way back to the gladiators of ancient Rome. And here's some of our modern day gladiators, right? We've got the Ultimate Fighting Championship, my husband's favorite. He forces me to watch this. I hate it. The WWF, right? WWE. Probably watch this when you're like 12 and you're like, that's awesome. And then Lucha Libre, right? So these are some of our modern day gladiators. Well, in the animal kingdom, probably the most impressive animal gladiator is the Nubian ibex. This is a goat that lives in the desert mountainous regions, North Africa and the Middle East. And they engage in these hour-long combats where they slam their 4-foot-long hooves or horns into each other over and over and over again. And out of this contest, only one male will reign supreme, and he will have unlimited mating access to an entire harem of females, while the other males are forced to go live off in the other part of the mountains, fighting each other out for the scraps. Pretty impressive stuff. So it's much better in stereo, I assure you. Feel free to sing along, in other words. I do. Alright, so we've pretty much been beaten out by animals in physical contests, right? They're pretty impressive. We all agree with this. But one of the things that really sets us apart is our ability to explore the very furthest reaches of the earth. We go everywhere. If we can get up there, we'll do it. So here's a couple of guys. They just reached Base Camp 2 in Mount Everest. That's about 21,300 feet, which is pretty high up there. And they're feeling pretty good about themselves. And if they're anything like me, they're looking around and thinking, wow, I must be the only animal that's ever been up to this height, right? Let's take a little closer look at this picture here. Uh-oh. Yeah. Sorry, guys. So this is a little jumpy spider. This little spider actually lives at 22,000 feet. That's a full 700 feet higher than these guys are at the advanced base camp. They live in a space so high that they exist solely off of bugs that are accidentally blown up the mountain, right? Just to remind you of the variation temperatures these guys are experiencing. In May, you can sometimes wear t-shirts on the mountain, but in January it's -75 with a wind chill of about 175. Sean, you been there?
Does this allow them to remain in focus while everything around them isn't?
Yes, it's a very special procedure. Yeah, Sean, you wouldn't understand. There's polarizing forces and, yeah, it has to do with the hairs. Don't worry about it. Next. Okay, so we've given up on the fact that maybe we've gone the furthest, right? Obviously, we haven't gone the furthest. So here's another picture of these guys. But what we do have is our technology, right? So our technology is really what sets us apart. So here we have our cell phones. Everybody's got one of these today except for me because I'm lame. But these allow everyone at any age, any place, basically under any condition to contact people all over the earth. But I'll remind you, this is a pretty recent thing, right? This is pretty recent. If we go back in time, before our submarines and our underwater communication polluted the oceans, humpback whales were actually able to communicate basically from pole to pole. Their underwater transmissions are able to travel at 5 times the speed that they could on ground. They have this incredibly dynamic, changing language where they can actually change from place to place and region to region. And in fact, they even have like internet memes where one popular song, say a Justin Bieber song, will be playing down here, and it'll take over the entire ocean, wiping out all those old Lady Gaga songs. So I'm trying to put it in some terms here, non-scientific terms, so we can understand this. This is something I really like my phone to do. Obviously, if I had a phone, which I probably have 6, but I don't have any chargers for them. In fact, if you look around, animals are always beating us out on something. And you can build yourself a gun, but there's going to be some pistol shrimp who's going to be able to shoot a bubble out at 60 miles per hour. The collapsing of the bubble will create temperatures so high as to rival the surface of the sun. No matter how fast you're able to run on ground, you're never going to beat the 75 miles an hour of a full-grown cheetah. Right? But I don't want you to feel bad about yourself, okay? Because there's one thing that you can do that nobody else can do.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better.
That's right. Use your rights. All right, almost finished. And now, from the ridiculous to the sublime, I'd like to present Dana Mosley, who's going to read us a poem written by her sister called Chasing Scarlet Eyes.